But the way shit is going these days with these star seeds, it's appearing as if they may be choosing their parents, and the conjoining of the two was for the purpose of the child to come through. Not for the marriage, not for the thing, not for the relationship to basically be head over heels and we in love forever, but there was a purpose in that conjoining, and that was the child. What do you think about that?
I don't think that's possible. The child can't be there without the union. Just the child can't be nurtured without.
Right. I don't mean that. I'm not negating the union. I'm saying full love. You know what I mean? A love child. I know hit and run. A love child coming through, you know, and the parents loving on that child and those parents loving each other. However, the paradigm of the Roman antics that they taught us about, you have to be married. If you don't have a child, or you're not married, you're not a good woman, and all of these other things. Is that being disrupted by this new paradigm that we're in, to whereas the ring might be the child, or the marriage might be the fact that you created a whole life and whatnot. Is that more important than the marriage these days? And then I have another question to ask.
I don't understand. So are you saying that like marriage for children is like a problem in Caucasian antics? Are you saying that sometimes people are meant to come together to bring a child together, not for them to be married?
I'm saying that.
Okay. Now see, what would you do if somebody talk about your mama? What if somebody abused talk about your mama and kicked your mama down in front of you? How would that make you feel?
What made you feel like kicking her down?
Yeah. What about my mama? Wow. I might be looking at something this weekend.
Right.
And a lot of times, men confuse the woman that is their lover,
Right.
or that's your son's mom.
Right.
That's your daughter's mom.
Right.
I think we have a disconnect that a man thinks he could be a good father. You think your son cares about how you and his mama was fight? That's my mama.
Right.
And vice versa. It's their parents. You know what I'm saying? So to me, it would be impossible to say, oh, no, it's meant for us to bring this child. That child, I want to take care of my mama and be good to my mama. It's not natural to have a child and be gay to other women. Have a daughter, oh, my dad's not with my mama, he's dating other women. That hurts the child.
I met a child, and henceforth, I'm speaking about the newer business, or what they call star seeds, whatever. I met a child who told me specifically, my parents don't own me, right? I chose them as a vessel to come through, but I am on my own mission. I am not I'm not their child. They don't own me. They brought me through and they're raising me, but that's not the arrangement. This is what a child told me 8 years old. Where did that child get that mindset from? And
That child wants to see their mom and dad together.
I believe that.
That child might have the anointing, or that child might have heard it on the movie. You don't know. It could be so tricky. You gotta watching Star Trek. So I don't know. I would say the average child, you ask any son, do you want to see your mama dating niggas? I can't see no son saying, yeah. I want to be with my daddy. I want my daddy to commit to you and treat you right.
So the second question would be, there's this phenomenon that I've observed over the years, and it baffles me. And it doesn't baffle me to the point where I don't have an answer as to why I'm seeing this, but it baffles me as to why I'm seeing it so frequently. What would be your take as to why so many new couples who bring children into the world don't make it past the second year together?
The child was born for manipulation.
The parent.
Or to win against another woman.
Right.
And whenever you receive a child, what good is coming from that? So you thought you was gonna put that child in that person to win or bring something together, that's gonna make everything fall apart. So I don't know what people think is coming from a child deceived by deception and manipulation or ulterior motive. You supposed to have a child to love and nurture that child, and whatever they grow up and become, I'm supportive of that. I love you no matter what. You don't make your children have to perform for your love. Or I love you if you be the way I think you should be. You love that child. That's the part of parent. That's why I don't fault people that say, I don't want to have kids. I want it to be about me. Great.
Right.
Because that's what you should do.
Right.
Because having a child is investing so much and not expecting any return.
Right.
You know, you don't gotta earn my love. I love you no matter what you do. I love your dirty draws. So them children, them people you see that break up, that they had that baby most of the time to try to prove something to someone else, to keep someone around, make someone undesirable. You know, it's a lot of that. Or they both toxic. They know they need to break up. Let's get pregnant so we ain't gotta break up. And the inevitable ends up happening. Whatever energy you go to the conception of a child, and that child will only magnify time.
So like a lot of casuals, a lot of results you may say of people just casually getting the hookup culture, you know, not really, you know what I mean? Like mistakes are happening and children are being born as a result, but they never really grew between the parents. So that's kind of like what we're seeing.
I don't even think it's necessarily that. I think a lot of people, most people I see who actually are becoming single parents in 2024, it was a manipulation. That's what I see most of the time. And the children is supposed to be the result of, not the cause of. And a lot of people are want the child to be the cause of further commitment or the cause of taking things to a next level. And that child will resent you. They don't know you had him or her as a tool.
Right.
You didn't have me as a result of your intention. You wanted me to be the intention. You used me before I was even born. They didn't wonder why the kids bad and why the kids was in. You try to use your own child for your own gain. You ain't gonna love that child.
Do you feel or do you think that men in particular, right, are not receiving the tools and the instructions, right, to be real fathers to our children? We're dropping the ball. Because I see the men going up and stopping the ball.
Typically, the older generation, a lot of the younger brothers, I think they know how it feels to be neglected that way, and so many of them, majority do than don't. You know, they're making a decision, I'll never make my children feel what I feel. I think, like my father's generation, oh my God, there was no recourse. You know, my father's generation, whatever they did, it was still, that's your daddy. Your daddy come and look inside of you, see him twice a year, and the kid are like, okay. They was forced to do that. The new generation of men now, it's rare you see a guy in between 35 and younger who is just a complete deadbeat. It's very rare.
Right.
And most of the time, if you do, he doesn't have a network of other men. Most men nowadays, it would be kind of weird. Every other man take care of their kids, and here you go, ain't seen your kid in years, not doing anything for it. The court system has changed a lot. They're more in favor of the men now. Effort is seen. Men that show up and try are normally rewarded. So I would say we're getting out of that era where the whole deadbeat thing is a norm now. We're getting into that era where the men are saying, I don't want my kids to go to this I don't want. So I'm proud of the progress that men have made on being more intentional and being their children, right? We're taking baby steps. We gotta have grace.
Right.
That was the first step. Now we're gonna take more steps to now take care of the mother too. Be with the mother too. We slowly getting there.
Okay, because I was gonna add on that, yes, I remember being in Harlem, 2007 and 8. I made it my purpose to walk down 25th with the baby carriage. You know what I'm saying? To let other brothers see, like, this is cool. And then as the years progressed, that became a phenomenon. Men with carriages, you know what I mean? Men with the, the pouches where you got the baby in it, like, they were walking down 125th with their head high.
Yes.
You feel me?
Yes.
So I do agree that we're seeing a shift in the younger generation where they're like, nah, I'm not wearing that title. And that shit is not cool, and whatnot. So, okay, cool. Let's go to the audience. Anybody in the audience want to add on and have any other questions?
I have a question.
Yes.
how do you, I guess for men,
I
how
got
do
some of
you
that soup
spot
left.
somebody who's like
Cool.
faking the funk? For example, you have a lot of women who can get a hold of makeup, get surgeries, and maybe get a little bit of information to like present themselves some other way. And the dude might be like, oh, she a feminine woman, I'm about to get with her. Or vice versa, you got a man who might look up on a little bit of cash and present himself like, oh, I'm an alpha male who's a provider, but you know, he looked up on somebody. How do you, you know, spot somebody who might be fake?
I would say that the first thing, like I said before, is the intention. When you go into it like, let me see if she faking it, I know all these girls, you attract more of the women faking it. You have to first go into it with your chest high, like, I know my value as a man, I know whatever woman that is drawn to me or I'm drawn to her, I already know she must. You go into it already expecting her to be here. We follow y'all lead in odd ways. It's not always so matter of fact the way a lot of times men think. It's like, okay, yes, here, I'm with your tone. It's not always that. Sometimes with the woman, we know, oh, he has this expectation. We can smell it. So when we smell, he going into it, oh, I know she's like all the rest. That tell us, oh, women don't respect him. Women try him to respect him neither. Everyone else tries, you're going to try you too. But when we get into oh shoot, I have expectations and standards here. We're competitive in that way now. We're like, oh, I gotta go into this, I gotta act right. And I was talking to a brother earlier, I said, y'all have to utilize communication with no physicality. Because a lot of times, let's just keep it real, you knew that bitch wasn't shit. But her booty was jiggling, the titties was titty, and you was like, oh! And you ignored the so don't come out with me because you want to go get some stuff. She go out with you talking about, take a picture of me, take a picture of my food. You ain't nowhere in the frame. So you have to take that time. Any woman who wants you to take up a steak the next day and she don't want to sit on that phone and talk to you and not waste her own time as well, don't do it. Quality women, I want to also figure out, okay, what is he on before I be seen with him, have to get dressed, put on my good bra, shave, I'm not doing all that, though. Let's talk on the phone and figure it out first. The next thing, any woman that lets you waste her time, she's not quality. Quality women ain't letting no man waste some time, honey. If you don't do the next man will next, bye. Women that sit around like, oh my God, please, pick me up, pick me. What's wrong with her? I don't understand this. Like, clearly, she's in the deficit mindset, and she's gonna make you deficit too. So, set your expectations. Don't waver in that. Any woman who it didn't work out, she invisible to you. A lot of men, sometimes you wanna hold on to your ex, your sneaky link. Her energy around, other women smell it, and that girl don't respect you. She slept with you Monday, another man Wednesday. She has no respect for you. Now, I sense that ain't shit bitch on you. Now, I'm not about to give you more. You still sleep with your ex, you getting pound town, and she ain't show you no respect. She ain't follow your lead. I'm not doing it either. Once you see she ain't the one, bye, block, invisible. I never knew it existed. Move on. Go into it. Let us smell it on you. Oh, this is expectation. Ever find out? Because we know. Go into it with a positive mindset. I assume any woman in my presence, that's the girl. She, you know what I'm saying? And have a plan. Utilize that phone. Don't be the girl Monday and take her out Wednesday. Absolutely not. Let's talk on the phone first, because now you're on the first date and something came out her mouth crazy, and you like, oh, she over here like, y'all just my third vaccine booster, and you like, oh my God, and now you don't waste it $200 on Lady Pepper and coffee. So that could have been a phone call. You know what I mean? So set your intentions. Let the woman rise to you, and where you at.
Hey, Mom. You got me on this house feeling like Shay Shay, yo. I'm over here taking great good. God damn it.
Not Shay Shay.
So you're speaking on quality women, you're speaking on illusions, and I'm a transplant to Atlanta over here. I'm wondering, how did you grow your sisterhood full of quality women despite the illusions of women appearing to be quality women here in Atlanta?
What I did is, I focused more so on the quality than how many. For me, when I first got to Atlanta, all the it girls wanted to hang with me. And I tried at first. And we walked in, I look around, it's wigs. and Fashion Nova. And the same talking points over and over. We got to eat, supposed to have fun. I'm sitting there like, and then they all saying the same thing, and I'm like, well, actually, they're like, why you saying that? And I was like, I was like, I just don't. It wasn't working out, and I had, first of all, I had to become okay with not having no friends in Atlanta, because I'm from Orlando. So most of my friends I've had from freshman year of high school, and they're still down there. Now, when it came to the new city, I had to first be okay with being alone. The same with that brother. If you hang around a bunch of, I call them basic bitches, if you hang around a basic bitch, she did copy and paste of 90% of the girls here. Girls who are of quality that you want to build real friendship and relationships with, they're like, oh, she must be one of them, so I don't fit in with her either. So I had a period of time of being alone, and then I decided if I have 5 sisters that's solid, and I can rock with, I'm okay with that. I don't need to have 20 girls around me. And that's what I did. And that's what I'm doing now. I have a few sisters who get it, you know, who think, and I nurture them. So even if it's a few women, that's okay. Y'all nurture each other. Timing and distance is hard in Atlanta. I hate when you meet a girl like, oh, I like her. And she's in Riverdale. I'm in Tucker, you know what I'm saying? So have meeting spots. A lot of times with the girls I hang with, we meet downtown because it's normally a middle spot for all of us. And shoot your shot at girls. Ask you, if I have girls like, oh, I'll say, hey, you want to go to dinner? You want to go to brunch? You want to, and you'll be surprised. Like a lot of girls, they want to have friends too, but it's kind of like we all don't want to feel like what do I do? But shoot your shot at some sisters. Hey, sisters, you want to go out? You want to go for a walk? You want to go to the Beltline? And you'll be surprised how many sisters, they also want that fellowship. And just be okay with small group because there's not that much to choose from.
My brother.
Question I have is sort of how important is addressing trauma in the beginning and also during the relationship, and also considering the type of world we live in, like wartime. How does that change the dynamics of what the relationship will look like? Like we at war, you know what I mean? Like so, you were talking about chess, playing chess. So, what's your take on that?
You know, I'm glad you asked that because I feel like that's real common. And I don't think that's fair. You go out with a brother, he trying to get to know you to have fun. And on the date, yes, I was molested from when I was 4 until I was 10. Yes, I was raped twice. Oh my God. Who am I? Dr. Phil? It's not fair. I'll say this, my brother. If you meet a woman and it's very early on and she starts telling you about trauma like that, be like Homer Simpson in the bushes and just slowly back in. She needs a professional. When women get abortions, when they have rape, any of that, she needs professional help. It is not on you as a man, unless you are a licensed clinical psychologist. You're not trained for that. It's not your problem. You did not do it. If she's coming to you with it, it's not healing. And I wouldn't recommend going there. It's going to come out in ways that really is not your problem. So I would say I would refer her to a therapist. If a woman should, I don't know why they do that. I see so many people say that. Why the woman, she has trauma? You've been dating 2 weeks. Why do you already know this? It's insane. That is something that happened to her personally. She needs to get help and come to peace with that personally and stop every man she meets bleeding it out onto him as though you Mother Teresa gonna sit here and heal her and put holy water and get her back. It's not your job. So I'll say that. Okay?
What if she sees the healing in you?
No. Do you know what happened? Then 10 years from now, she's going to divorce saying irreconcilable business saying, when I got with him, I was so broken. I'm not laughing. She's going to divorce you later and say, when I got with him, I was so broken and he was just my life. Now, you're not a healer. You're distracting her from her pain. Then the minute she really is healed, now you ain't her type of That's a trauma bond. You see them, they'll be the man 10 years and be like, I was still broken when I got with him, but now I see the light. Well, a woman should never get with no man when she broke him. Why would you do that?
But my question would be like, so a man's love language wouldn't be like, yo, if I'm rocking with you, I'm gonna be a part of your healing journey, and I'm gonna get you what you need.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. Now her healing is determined upon your presence. Now the minute you gotta go somewhere, you say, where are you going? What are you doing? Who are you with? I know you with. Tell that bitch she can have you. That's how it happens. Now this man, when he's around, he's my healing. I'm healed.
But
Now the minute you
no,
leave
I'm
space,
saying
his
that.
demons or her healing going away.
Yeah, I'm saying, what if the man could be the liaison to get you to that therapist or to get you to that professional? But he's like,
Give her a car and go about your way. She gotta get it together before she think about women. That's the quickest way to end up in a marriage.
that's interesting because there's a lot of trauma bonding in our community.
A lot.
Question from,
So I want to ask, what do you think about the possibility and the significance of us rebuilding like this village mentality? You know, I feel like we kind of so deep into this American individualism, materialism, and everybody's competing against each other. And you know, what's the significance of the village? You know, having granny and them involved in the rearing of your child, growing our own food, creating our own communities. Like, what do you think about that?
I think we inevitably will end up back at that space.
Mm,
Because people can't afford to live.
mm,
They have, what, 70,000 evictions that is filed in Atlanta?
mm,
Most of them black women.
mm,
So unfortunately, I think we're in this place where we'll have to hit rock bottom
mm,
before, and unfortunately, I think we'll have to get to that place where we have no other choice but each other.
mm.
And we will have to get back to that place of a compound.
Right, right,
And
right.
see, this is why they demonize natural conflict amongst black people as black on black crime and black families can't get along. They'll say, oh, other families, they can live all under one roof and get along because they have not been taught that their natural conflict, no one fights more than brother and sister or brother and mother or sister and sister.
Mm-hmm.
So other cultures know how to say, we had this conflict, that's normal, that's family conflict. When we have the conflict, oh, see, black family, see, you can't get along with your family, race. Getting to that place where, take away the options, okay? We're getting to the place, honey, a one-bedroom apartment, you're gonna be looking at, what, $1,700 for a decent place anywhere? So we'll get to this place where everyone will fall on their behind, and we'll say, we're in the phase of rebuilding, we in the phase of, we in a whole new direction. We'll get to that place where that will become normalized because we'll wake up and say, you know, the issue we have with each other, though it may be intensified because of our history, but when you think about it, we got the same problems everybody else has. You know, if you've seen behind the walls of a white family or an Indian family, right, there's some things that go down behind the walls, okay? So I think we'll get to that place like, hold up, it's really not that bad. We can maybe all live together as a family or buy a piece of land, live in proximity, and that will happen when it's our only option, and it will be soon.
For sure. For sure. Appreciate it.
Question, John, before we wrap this up. Sis.
Okay, so I pretty much just wanted to ask, it's kind of a question I feel like should be expressed for the community, more so than a question or even for myself, because I kind of have my own views and take on it, but I just wanted to ask your take and view on the true art of seduction and the difference between sensuality and sexuality. It's like, what would be your take on that?
The difference,
Let me repeat that for the
okay.
She said the difference between the art of seduction versus sensuality.
So, the true take on the art of seduction,
Okay,
and
the
the
true
difference between sensuality and sexuality.
The true take on the art of seduction and the difference between sensuality and sexuality. Great question.
Love that question. So the sensuality is the build-up and then the sexuality is the buildup, what's worth the hurt. Because sometimes I've seen women have the sensuality, but then the actual act of the sex is like, that was kind of big. So the sensuality is whatever level you're at in your comfort, in your sexuality, is building the man up in anticipation of this is where we're gonna go and executing it. See what I'm saying? So the sensuality is the buildup. It's how comfortable you are in yourself. And the more comfortable you are in yourself, it's like the more comfortable the man becomes with you being comfortable with yourself. Okay? It's not, you know, a man can go to a prostitute and pay $40 and bam, things for man. A lot of times that's what it's a part of it is the chase, the allure. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. When you see men where they want multiple women, they like chasing. They like that. So the sensuality is come get it. The sexuality is now we're gonna go whatever I anticipated you up to what it's gonna be, yeah, it's like that. So always look at the sex as this is, you know, again, some women are very sensual but fail sexually. You wanna make sure that you can execute both sides. So get to know what level you're at, what you like, and you're showing the man this is what is going on with me. I know there's multiple women out here, there's multiple, every woman has her own style in the bedroom. I'm showing you mine. And then when the actual act of sex comes, now I'm confirming what I already led you to believe.
Last question. Before we wrap this up.
I've got a question.
Yes.
First of all, thank you for coming, Queen. You're absolutely beautiful. We hope that you have a long, wonderful life. I wanted to know how important it is to you that the family understands the dynamics of our open enemy, white supremacy, and racism, and how it affects the way we think and behave towards each other. How does that rank? Because I heard you guys say certain things like the BBLs. To me, I see that as like white supremacy as well, because those women used to wear these big hip dresses because they don't have those shapes. And we have kind of identified with them and we mimic some of the things that we do. We're like copy people who are copying us. That's just a question. How do you feel that ranks as far as in a relationship? How important is it for the man and the woman to be on the same accord with being anti that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like what you're saying, and to me the BBL is not a result of white supremacy as, you know, their fashions, but it's a result of white supremacy and capitalism. The girl get the BBL, you get more money from the man. Okay? When you risk your life to get the BBL to get the bigger butt, it's because you want more money from the man around you. That's what it comes, it's to sell it. So, and that goes back into capitalism, it goes into survival mode. So, when it comes to white supremacy, I think that if you don't understand the place it has in your family, you're very hard on your family. So when you understand racism and white supremacy, it makes you appreciate your family because it's like, wow, here we are in spite of all of that. Every other race gets to just exist. And you know, if they're hindered, it's a self-hindrance. But when you can, instead of being so hard on your family because of what they're not and what they are, if you can instead get with a mindset of, wow, you know, we doing very well despite intricate years and years long systems to make this not happen. We're still here. It makes you appreciate your family more. It makes you have more grace and not be so hard on each other. Like, always think about that. We're here in spite of. Every black love relationship is there in spite of. Every black family is there in spite of. And when you say, you know what, others don't even have stacked against them what we do, but we still here, you go into the attitude with your family in appreciation instead of resentment. Oh, no, you don't have what they have. We ain't went through what they went through. They haven't went through what we have. You know, so understanding, it's not an excuse to say, I'm gonna abuse you and treat you bad, because white supremacy, I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is, working with what we got, where we are. We can do that when it's like, you know what? Despite everything that's happened, we still here. You know? And love on your family and show them grace. And it's gonna be easy on them.
Right. So we have to get our good brother Julius, who is the owner and proprietor. Give it up to the young.
Yeah.
He has his young king working, you know what I mean, in the kitchen with him. He's a brother in the kitchen, first of all. Like, the brother's in the kitchen, and that means a lot.
That's a pharmacy.
That's right, kitchen is his pharmacy. So, I'll have you, ask the last question.
Okay,
for the
so
night.
I heard when you said you was like, he has to have, the dude, if he wanna, have multiple wives, but he has to have a whole bunch of money. What if he got a lot of real estate and a lot of land?
She said that.
But he don't have the financial abundance of millions of cash money, but he has a plan, he has real estate, he got a good, flow of income coming in, and he need a team to fulfill his mission.
Like a mission, like for a farm?
No, a mission for, I guess pretty much his legacy.
We're gonna leave it at tent.
No, I'm saying his legacy might be, he got land and property, right? You said he gotta have a whole bunch of what?
Yeah, he has to have a surplus.
Okay, right. So what is this, your intake of a surplus? Somebody might say $1 million, 2-3 million. But what if he got enough to make millions, but he need his team?
So the question would be, what kind of woman do you want? Do you want women who will say, I'm gonna share a man who has land? Is that the kind of woman you want? Like, think about, what does she look like? What's her philosophy? How does she move?
Right.
And my thing is, if the woman that be with a man who may not have finances, but he got a land and some tent, if that's the kind of woman you want multiple versions of, go back. Or else I would say wait until you get to the point where the women that you actually want are willing to get with what you got going on. I typically, when I think of what a man typically want, those kind of women typically are not gonna say, who could get their own man with money. They're not typically gonna say, I will reject that to share a man. Share him emotionally, sexually, financially, that's a lot.
But
So, like I said, it depends on the type of woman that you like.
And let me say this too, because if you do the scale, how many black men to black women? It's like what, 40 to 1? Then you gotta think about the one that's incarcerated. Then you gotta think about the one that's gay. So it ain't that many.
And you're right.
I mean, real ones.
You're correct. But then you've also got to think of the point on the women. How many of them are of the sound mind to be a wife? Yeah, they'll say, well, all these men, some are gay, and some of these women, they're insane. Some of them, they're naturally meant to be on this earth to be a concubine, to be a whore. Some of them, they have multiple men themselves. I'm not settling down with just you. For every woman that is capable, every black woman who is capable of sound mind, there is a brother capable of sound mind. Most of the women you see, she's not equipped to be a wife. Most of the men we see are not equipped to be a husband. But for every husband and wife, because you're that before you get married, for every husband and wife, there's one-on-one for each other. Now, the problem is you have to just be able to, identify that and understand that. But all these women, they might be available, but they're not an option. Okay, you have 40 women, 38 of those probably are not even mentally there to really be a wife. I'm talking about a real wife. So they don't count. The 38 don't count. So I would say this, again, the type of woman you want, that's why I said a man gotta have the plan. Visualize, what does my woman, and specifically, what does she look like? How does she act when she's mad? How does she act when she don't get his way? How does she act when I introduce myself to other women, wanna be with other women? And think about her mannerism and what she would look at in real life and say, now, would she go for what I got going on? And that's all you gotta do. And I tell any brother that's polygamous, I just wanna see you do it. Don't talk about it, just go do it. I wanna see all the wives, go live a happy life, go get married, and go do it. I don't typically see it successfully executed long term. That's my thing. And for me, if it was to work, the whole community would need to be polygamous. You see, you would have a whole community kind of off-grid of polygamy, so it's normal. But if I'm in this house where my husband is me and him, getting him all to myself, but the girls next door is 4 of them sharing one, that creates discontent. Now she's like, well, hold on, I want my own husband too, like her. But if the women over here are 4 women with one husband, and a woman next door, and a woman next door, then I could see it being more normalized. But it would be hard. I see many brothers in polygamy now, they want all the women to come together, bring all the women's resources and money under one roof. They want women to leave their comfortable apartment on their own or comfortable home on their own to come join under a roof with other women, and most women are not conditioned to get along with other women in that way.
Let me say this real quick, because, you know, I really like that what you said, but if it was a situation where, you know, you can have your one apartment, but you dedicate and you respect it to this one king, because I believe when you say you're married to someone, the uterus and the penis, that's the ring and that's the finger. So immediately, whatever he got, you got. You see what I'm saying? So that's the marriage to me. In the business, when y'all come together.
So that's pretty much trust me, bro. So let me ask you this. You have a daughter, she turned 20 years old. And she said, Daddy, this man wants me to come give him all of my great fertile years in my 20s, and he wants me to have 5 kids with him. He wants me to not have no career and take care of him. But don't worry, Daddy. He said, trust me on this. Would you tell your daughter, yeah, go ahead, do it? Or would you want to have some form of collateral? Would you want to have something for her to guarantee that this man is going to actually follow through what he says? I don't think it's fair to make women give so we have dogs.
Hold on, let me say this real quick. Let me say this real quick. Now when we coming together, the marriage is the business part, right? So we come together, we say, okay, let's start a business together. We both start from zero. So I'm not already up with my millions, and you don't have nothing, you trying to get with me because I got millions. So I've been in a situation before, like the person, I had the money, so now you coming to me and say, oh, you can have multiple wives because you got money. You see what I'm saying? So now we're saying, let's start the business together. This business is a 50-50 business. So with this business, both of us starting off at zero. And the marriage is we waking up every day, how we're going to build this business together while we making sex magic. So that respect, and when you have a partner like that, that's different. You don't have to be married. You can have multiple partners that you're intimate with, women that's emotional, evolved. So they're not looking at it like, oh, I got to have this person. This person belongs to me and me only.
Do you go into business with other men off of trust me, bro, or do you go into it with contracts and understanding?
See, I go into all my relations with agreements.
Verbal agreement?
No, written agreements.
Why?
Because both of us got to agree on whatever we're going in business on. So we got to come to an
what
agreement.
What is that about accountability? So you don't go into nothing with no other man on something. Just trust me on this, on my word. And that's on a tangible business. That's on some money that you can remake. But you want a woman to go into that business on trust me, bro, with her life? That's not fair.
No.
You know you're gonna be there. Put it in. Go ahead and put it in. Go ahead and get married.
That's what I'm saying. The writing is in the paper. That's the agreement.
Whatever marriage is for you.
That's what I was just saying.
As long as, well, see, that can be tricky too. Because as long as the man is not married, that means technically he can get married. And whatever woman he married would be entitled to everything that woman did.
Okay, I respect that. Well, but what if you don't believe in the United States marriage document paper up under the white folks?
People change. I get what you're saying. Listen to what I'm saying. You marry your women under agreement.
Right.
The woman need to understand, you can do that. But just know, because things change, you young. 10 years from now, he can say, you know what? You might be the girl of your dream, blow your socks off. I'm gonna marry her. Now, you can go really marry, I say it like that woman, and she would be entitled to everything those women built with you. What I'm saying is look at it not from your perspective, but look at it in protecting the woman as well, not just protecting you. Like I said, for every 1 year for a man is like 7 years for us as women. A man can be 25 and waste 10 years. And 35 wake up like nothing ever happened and go about a woman can't do that. So what I say is,
just put that in agreement.
Her as well.
So just put that in the agreement.
No matter
what we make.
You can't get married. No one can do that.
Say
It's
one
like
more
you can't get with someone and make an agreement for child support before you have a child. Certain things you cannot do. There is no agreement that can tell a man you cannot go get legally married. There's no protection against that. So the woman can build that man, build up millions, he can marry another woman and she can take it off. That's the reason.
What if you put that in agreement? What if they say that in agreement? If we break up, whatever we made together, you get your 50 and I get my 50.
That would be a business partner, and that's what I say. At that point, what's the romantic interest? There's no.
See, I want to be romantic with my business partner. I want to be at the office saying, "Baby, you look sexy today."
It still wouldn't matter when you get married. the wife is now an extension of you. So she still is entitled to it. Even if y'all can have all the written agreements you want to. You're married, the wife is legally entitled, period. No matter what agreement that you have. She's an extension, she is you at that point.
But what if you put in an agreement, if you marry someone, your 50 and my 50, we split out even?
She's not going for it, bro.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying, but what I'm saying
She's not going for
once
it.
they see this person is married, she has the power to trump that. That's what I'm trying to say.
No, she
now
doesn't.
she can come in and say, oh, well, you know, he has access to all these assets. I want it for me. She could get with you, stay with you 10, 15 years, leave, and she could say, well, technically, I'm entitled to this as well.
Yeah,
They have a written agreement that they got from Office Depot.
Yeah, we saying the same thing, but if you got your paperwork in order, you can have real agreements with this person that you're going to. But first of all, you don't want to go into business with nobody who you don't really respect. First of all, so we ain't even talking about, see, that's the main thing. Everything that I do, you know, when you on a conscious level, you do it out of respect. So your partner, she ready to go in business with you. She believe in your business. So if I'm just saying it from my perspective, if I'm going into a relationship with somebody, sometimes they think about the word marriage. And so that marriage part, just like how we just went that little debate about little marriage, whatever, I understand what you're saying. I just do that because the word marriage, it rings a bell in your head, saying we got to go deal with the white folks. Anything happen. So when you dealing with a conscious-minded woman, she ain't even thinking about dealing with the white folks. No, paperwork. You gotta go to the courthouse? Oh no, I ain't with no brother like that. So from a conscious perspective, that's how I look at it sometimes when I have conversations with women. I say, oh, okay, wow, you want to get married. You gonna go to the courthouse with these folks and tell us what we got to do. So I kind of, it's like.
You have a license for this building. You have a license to sell food. The white man tell you to sell that food.
But see, it's because I know I got to do
White man
business.
told you to drive your car out there, but all of a sudden when it comes to the well-being of the woman, that's, you know, taking it too far. And my thing is this.
It's not taking it too far. I'm just saying
This is my thing. Find a woman who don't want to get married. I just don't like for a mother to see a woman who say, I want to get married. Once you say that, if you don't want to, go by that. And go for the women who say, I don't need to be married, I just want to be with you. And let that be your girl. My problem is when someone get with someone where this person saying, I want this, and you're hearing that they want it, and you're trying to make them not want it, as opposed to saying, they don't want it, go about my business. That's why I say typically men in polygamy, the women that they really want, don't be going for what it is they desire. So that's my thing.
Hey, mom.
Me personally, as a man, I don't want a woman who's like, yeah, I'm totally okay with you. I don't need no real man. That would be jarring to me as a man. So my thing is, meet the women who have no requirement like that. So they go to the white man for everything except that. Except the most important thing in your life.
Question.
That's why you don't trust them.
What is your thoughts about family compound?
We need that.
Okay,
We need that.
so with a family compound, let's say that a person has multiple children by multiple women, and on the family compound, he builds houses for the mothers and the children. They're not in the same household, but they on the family compound, whereas children get to grow around each other, the mothers get to, you know, if they choose to be amongst one another, they're not obligated to be forced to be in a house with one another. And, you know, if there's some type of businesses that form out of that, you know, you introduce homeschooling, but one of the main things is that the children are able to grow together. One of the main things that many men that I know, and a lot of brothers that I speak to, where their stress, their anxiety, where their trauma is the fact that they have multiple children who don't grow up around one another. Or the child is spread, you know, you spend quality time with this child, but then that child don't got your time. So a family compound, by bringing these children together, and like Julius was saying, then when the mothers are at peace, because it's about security and providing, right? So now we're producing food, right? We have produce growing, so there's food being produced. We have production taking place, like there may be some form of manufacturing and whatnot. Then we could sit down and start saying, well, you know, I have an idea for a business that I want to help you with. You dig what I'm saying? And I think that you would fare better because of your skills and your talent, because we spend time together. But then this is what you fare better in, and I want to also help you with this. who has children with these women, he's playing his part. It's not sexual though. And they're not sleeping. It's like if you even have a man that you want to marry, if you're happy, I'm good. I'll be the best man, whatever. Like I just want you to be good, but we're on this compound together. Type shit. So how do you feel about that?
Oh, okay, especially if the women are free to seek a mate for themselves. Absolutely. I think that's great. You know, but again, I look at is that the common majority for what everyone is equipped to do. Is that what we're seeing? Are we seeing men with tons of land and big old farm with a bunch of houses? You know, I think some of it sounds so good when you're talking about it, but do you know how much health insurance is? Like even health insurance for one family can be thousands a month. So we think about for a man to sustain on a family, you can't talk about you polygamists that have Medicaid. You see what I'm saying? You can't do that. You know, that's 20 clothes for each household. That's 3 meals a day for each household. If we are the most economically disadvantaged people on this planet, it would be I think polygamy is something that we play our cards right, we could probably empower maybe 2 to 3 generations from here to do. But it's kind of crazy to be the first free, I say it like this, first free generation. We barely don't stood up, and the first thing we do is like, I want 3 bitches. You know what I'm saying? It's like, damn, can we establish some generational wealth first, some life insurance first? Can we get on our feet? And if we love our children, now we can start conditioning the next generation of girls. You will be sister-wives, make it normal to them. Now you have land and wealth to pass down 2 or 3 generations of boys where they do have all that land and money to construct multiple homes and farm. But that's crazy to me, and to me that's our selfish nature of we don't want to make a change unless we benefit from it. That was never the way of our ancestors. They sacrificed and died for a lifestyle they would never experience. And now here we are, the first generation out like, I want 3 girls, I want 3 houses. The nerve. Why you can't sit down, sacrifice, eat your rice, and go ahead and empower yourself to build that wealth so your grandson can have that. You ain't gotta have it. It should fulfill you just as much for your grandson to have that as you have it. It should feel like you did. So that's my key is baby steps. You know what I'm saying? We can't barely get along for a week. And we want to take it there like, I want to see us be more like our ancestors and think long term. Sacrifice in what we might want right now for what will set our generation up in the future.
Our ancestors had estates. Our ancestors had gold. Our ancestors had land. Our ancestors had multiple ways of meeting our ancestors.
I'm sorry, let me be clear. I'm talking about our ancestors within the same way I say 2 or 3 generations from us. I'm sorry. I mean for Black Americans, 2 or 3 generations from us. I'm speaking on what I know here in America. I'm saying 2 or 3 our ancestors 2 to 3 generations back. I'm speaking more so in the South.
And if I run into 10 people, 6 people are telling me, Ray, I got 30 acres, I got 20 acres, it was passed down, my grandmother, my grandfather, they got all, not in the city, but these back outside of Florida, outside of Georgia, outside the Carolinas, people are coming from the States. And because this generation and the last 3 generations have been very entitled, right? We went through that crack era and everything. There was a lot of things that disrupted things, and they started selling off land, selling the real estate, selling the properties. I would say we're going kind of back to the ways of our ancestors by building these family compounds and these homesteads and whatnot. Because remember, my theory is it was the production of produce that led to the reproduction of children. That's why Big Mama had 30 children, because she was living on land where they were growing the food, they were making the clothes, everything was basically provided right there. So a woman never wanted to kill the child because I will produce your seed because you are a man in production. When you go to places where they had the belt line, oil, the rust towns, they became rust towns, but they were manufacturing towns. Detroit, the baby booms that was going on in Detroit. Why? And they were production. They were into production. They were producers. So the benefit or the positive of a productive man is the fact that he'll be able to reproduce, his wife will reproduce so many times because he can provide, right? So we're getting all of if our food source wasn't the supermarket back then. Our food source was our farm. We had the right chicken, we had the roosters, we had the cows, we had all of these things that were sustaining us and whatnot. So it's like, and then you had, they had multiple families spread around. So my theory is we can bring, instead of dealing with the dramas of what takes place in that, we could consolidate and say, you know what, for the people that have multiple children, instead of having everything spread out, going back to what we were saying earlier, the way that the economy is going, people are moving back in of these parents. You know what I mean? I know people moving back in with the mothers of their children, even though they're not together type stuff. So I'm like, being that we're seeing that, why don't we just start focusing on grabbing up some of these acres and whatnot, like the brother said, container homes, earth ships, monolithic domes and whatnot. You know what I mean? Tiny homes. There's a brother who comes here every other week. He sells tiny homes, 40 bands. You could hook that up. They Airbnb in tiny homes and whatnot. Like we could start out with something, because ain't nobody trying to have no one to live in no damn tent. You know what I mean? So we can start with something and then build from there. So like you're saying, by the time the third generation comes, it's a culture, it's a way of life. And they're like, yes, we can do this. Because we've seen examples of it. We have reference on it.
Yeah, and so what you're saying, if that's a man that already has the multiple children, already has multiple women, yeah, they're already here. I agree. That is, to me, is making the best of where you're at. That I'm with. But I wouldn't encourage that to become, you know, to the point where, okay, go ahead and pregnant a bunch of women.
Yeah, no.
But yes, I'm big on it.
Just for clarity purposes.
If the man,
that's not
okay, yeah, what you're
right.
saying about pre-existing, that would make more sense as opposed to the man having 30% of his income going into 4 different households with all his baby mamas with child support. I would say yes, I would respect it if a man said, listen, I can't pay all 5 of y'all child support, but what I can do, I'm all for a man making a solution with where he's at.
Right.
So what you're saying, he's already in that predicament, absolutely. But I wouldn't encourage that to just be the norm and how we do things going forward.
Amen.
Right. We're gonna be here till midnight if we don't wrap this up. I see the brother raising his hand right there. I see my good brother. Is that you, Hot?
Yeah, what's going on?
What up? What up? All right.
I just I hear it. I think she's a great speaker. I listen to her. I listen to you. Yeah, I listen to Steve Harvey. You know what I'm saying? But I was thinking like, maybe it's a generational built embedded to our brain, because my father was always telling me power is in the pussy. Just find a bunch of women, you know what I'm saying? And then my Indian dad, when my mom married the Indian man, he was like, you could buy land, you know what I'm saying? So I'm hearing the different cultures speak, and I'm thinking it's a cultural thing, you know? And now we just catching on, you know what I'm saying? Because after you said about we passed the era of that, and now we in this new era. So I'm hearing it, I'm soaking it up, you know.
You have a question?
Well, she had already answered my question, so I can't get to see it.
Appreciate you.
Good.
For the Zoom family, is there a question that y'all have?
So I just wanna just and I was just going about what the conversation was about. So I was raised by my dad. His nuclear family was me, my mom, my dad, and my sister. Prior to that, he was married, and I have a brother. He's estranged. Now, he's with, I believe, his true love. So, I'm not sure about their marriage, if he's still technically married to my mom, but he's not here.
Right.
For me, when you mentioned the star seed, he said that to me. He said, children they come through us, but they don't belong to you, like they don't belong to our parents. So I resonated when you said the child said that, because that's something he said to me, so he is one of those children that he's encountered with.
Right.
Now, as for my mom,